our lives, we've been told to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you'll be set. How's that working out for you? I'm TaVona Denise, physical therapist turned life and business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you create a life you love and a business on your terms. If you want more time, more freedom, more flexibility, I can help you create it. Welcome to Breaking Protocol, the show for women in healthcare who want more. There's so many thoughts floating around in my mind as I think about this year. I just had a birthday right before Thanksgiving. And during this time, I really try to reflect on who am I? Where am I going? What is happening? This year has been, as I'm sure it has been for you too, like this weird, am I in the twilight zone? What is happening? And it's just been from so many angles, from COVID to the social unrest to, just so many things. I went into the pandemic a little bit freaked out because I'm like, uh-oh, I'm a contractor. If I don't work, I don't get paid. And so there was the fear of what the heck am I going to do, even though I had been working on building my business. At the same time, even though I remember my coach telling me right in the beginning of the year, before the pandemic was even a thing, she was like, yeah, I think you're ready. And she was talking about being ready to take the leap, going full time in my business. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, because I think it needs to look a certain way. I need to have a certain amount of money in the bank. I need to have a certain number of clients that I'm working with. Like I had all of these stories about how it was supposed to look to step away from my job, which is so funny to me when I think about it now, because when I started my contracting company back in the day, like I didn't think about any of that. I just told them kick rocks. Like, you're not going to let me take my PTO. I'm going to my brother's graduation. I'm out. Like I had no plan. I had no safety net. I had no savings. I had none of that. And I guess I just had this trust in myself. Like I would be okay. Like I'll figure it out. Maybe it's like they say, God takes care of babies and fools. And maybe it's my naivete that saved me in that case. But this time was different. And even though everything led to I'm going to be okay, I guess my coach knew something or felt something or believed something that I didn't. So when she made that call, she said, yeah, you're at this place where you can really go full time. I'm like, lady, you're crazy. This is what I was thinking. But then COVID happened and I got forced out of the nest. It, now looking back, was one of the most beautiful gifts, one of the best things that could have happened, because I moved the goal, right? I moved the goal from it was my birthday last year to it would have been my birthday this year. And to be quite honest, I don't know that I would have taken the leap even this year because I had so much fear and, quite frankly, scarcity around money. So as I think back on this year, I'm like, wow, how is that perfect? I think it absolutely had to go that way where I was forced out, because I probably would have stayed and it would have stifled my creativity. And I think about this because I just got off of a coaching call with one of my clients, and she was a little bit frustrated, angry, upset because she's having some health challenges and she's not able to run her business the way that she wants to. And in her business, it requires her to do some lifting and things, and totally being sympathetic to the fact that she's having the physical issues. But I was like, wow, maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. You left physical therapy because it is a physical job and you didn't want to be doing that anymore. And you go into something else that is also very taxing on your body. It could be that we harp on that and get upset and frustrated and spin out and don't work on our business and we just shut down. But we could choose to look at it in terms of how is this a blessing? How is this thing that we don't think is good happening for us? In her case, as I asked her just for a second to consider the beauty or the benefit of this, we got into this beautiful brainstorming session where she was able to see, like, okay, If the circumstance is what it is, you're having some back issues, you're having some other challenges, and you cannot do the physical labor of what it is that you want to do, how else can you do that? And it was so much fun and joy for me as a coach to see her straighten up, to lighten up, and to start thinking about ideas of, oh, well, I could do it virtually, and I already have a video on this, and I can do this, and I can do that. And it just really brought me back to that same thought for me in the pandemic and the contracting being taken away. Like, wow, what if it was supposed to go this way? Like, of course, I don't want anybody to feel physical pain. I don't want them to suffer. But wait, she was literally about to go from one situation of being very physical to another situation because she thought that she had to do it that way. And because of the physical challenges, it just forced us, once we were to get beyond the frustration, the upset, the fighting with reality, she was able to tap into her own creativity and wisdom. Which makes me think of the author Byron Katie, who wrote a book called Loving What Is. If you've never read her stuff, that book in particular, I've only read that one, is super fascinating because she really works with people who have had some very traumatic experiences in their lives. And somehow she's able to help people reframe, to embrace what happened, like the circumstance of the situation. It is what it is. But what I've noticed with myself, with my clients, and reading and studying with Katie, or studying Katie's work, not with her, is that when we argue with what is, what our situation is, what our circumstances are, and we fight against how we feel, if it's frustration, disappointment, whatever, we oftentimes shut down and we lose our ability to tap into our own wisdom, our own creativity, to get our own selves out of the situation and potentially get ourselves into a situation that would be even better. By the end of that session, I was just giggling and excited because I could totally see how this client would make all the money. So instead of being locked into her physical surroundings of where she could drive to do the work, I'm like, whoa, you with your own brain just came up with a virtual solution. Not only is it going to be less taxing on your body, but it's also going to allow you to serve more people. It's going to allow you to have more freedom and flexibility, which is what you started the business for in the first place. But it gets to be even more so. And so it just made me think about that as it was time for me to talk to you today on the podcast, because we do this to ourselves so often. We want to push away our feelings. We don't want to feel that. And when we wrestle with the feelings, we get exhausted. And when we're exhausted, we have no energy to do the things that we need to do to potentially put us in a better place. What I want to offer you today is to actually lean into and to listen to how you're feeling. What information is there for you? And when we can accept and not argue with what our current reality is, what can come up in its place? Like, what do we learn from that? What kind of ideas can we get from that? How is it possible that this circumstance, this situation that doesn't feel so great, that we're not really excited about right now, how can this actually be happening for us and not just to us? If you are finding yourself in a situation where you're like, I just need this to go away, it's getting in the way of my ability to do what I need to for my business, I can't think, I don't have any energy, you're very frustrated or anything like that, and you just want to have an opportunity to look at your thoughts, look at your feelings, and see how can you creatively problem solve through this and potentially get to something even better, let's talk. Just go to TaVonaDenise.com/momentum and book some time on my calendar. Until next time, friend.